All right, guys, we are talking the single life now, and it's kind of heating up. I'm interested in what's going on with the couples. Sometimes it takes time for things to warm up for the shows, and sometimes things cool down. For me, 90 days cooling down a bit. They're getting closer to those wedding days, and in some couples, there's more tension, in some couples, there's less. For me, I just feel like there's not much as far as situations to talk about. So I'm going to single life and I'm really going to talk mostly about, well, just basically all about single life. So let me just go through my little list here. I think I'll start with Tim and Veronica. They do have an odd relationship, a very close friendship, and Jamal is really pointing that out. They do a double date with Jamal and Louisa, and Tim and Jamal kind of got into it about the parenting issue because Tim is not really Veronica's daughter's real father, but he's acted as her father basically for most of her life. And for some reason, Jamal got into it and said some things that I don't think were warranted. And a lot of people were upset that he said what he said. Yeah, I don't think that he should have said those things. But they came back together and calmly handled things as men and kind of so-called squashed the issue. But now they're out on a double date. They squashed the issue, but it's just odd how, during the date, I think Tim didn't remember how his steak was supposed to be. And he asked Veronica, say, you know how my steak is supposed to be. So it's a little weird for the new partners to be there while they're a little bit too oddly relying on each other. Jamal's like, you should know how your steak is. It's a little weird for you to ask that while I'm here, while her new partner is here. But I do really believe they have a super dependent relationship with each other. And I do think it's a beautiful thing if you can stay friends with your ex. But he's been so supportive and so much a part of her life to the point where the bond is really deep. Even if it's not a sexual relationship, their bond is really deep. And I don't know how the next person is going to fit in. And Louisa kind of complains. She's seeing Tim right now that, there's really no affection. And Tim's not sure when he's going to show her affection or kiss her at all. Veronica's kind of trying to push him out there and say, come on, just, get comfortable with doing some of these things. Find out he's a germaphobe. So a lot of things just going on with them right there. And what they showed from next time, what may happen is Jamal is kind of questioning things because of the closeness of their relationship. He just thinks it's a little too much and a little odd. And Veronica is showing Louisa love and trying to tell her, give Tim a chance. He's a little bit different, but give him a chance. And she kind of goes into her own language because they both speak Spanish. So the guys don't know what she's saying. Jamal was put off by that as well, but I love the way that she pushes for Tim. I think it's beautiful, and I hope that Tim and Louisa can form a bond. Jamal and Veronica have, but he's still very off-put by their relationship and by their friendship. And whatever they have, it's, to me, is beyond friendship. Again, he is a father figure to Veronica's daughter. They're just super duper close. And, I desired when I broke up, it depends on the relationship you're in, because you can break up with people and you just don't want anything else to do with them. But I've been in a relationship where I broke up with the person, but I still wanted to have a connection, and I was hoping that we could still have a friendship. I was hoping that this person was a certain kind of way, but they kind of just dropped me to the side, and it felt kind of bad the way things ended. And I really thought that person would still be really good friend material, but we were feeling two different ways. I still wanted a friendship. They just wanted to let everything go. And that can happen. I've always kind of wanted to have someone that would still be a friend to me, but I didn't really know how to go about that situation. Is it possible? Because from everything I'm seeing, and even in my own past relationships, most of the time I do not want to continue even being friends with this person. And it depends on how things ended. If things ended amicably, I'd be open to it. It depends on how things close out, because we started out supposedly being friends and things moved too fast. So I felt like we missed out on the whole friend part, because the friend part was so short, and we could have potentially maybe been better friends than a couple. But to see what Tim and Veronica are going through and how they are so dependent on each other, even as they have moved on to the next relationship, it's still kind of strange, because it's still a space taking it within their lives that's very deep. And it's like, can anyone feel their shoes, or will anyone even be able to? Because it's like they're still sitting there almost in a relationship mode without the sexual element. And it's like, to me, can be a little bit unhealthy seeing their bond. So like, if you do have a friendship with someone after the relationship is done, are you able to loosen that bond and kind of part ways? Because for me, I was thinking, okay, of course we're not going to talk every day like we did, we're not going to text every day like we used to, but we could check in on each other sometime, we can hang out sometime, catch a movie, lunch or something. Nothing romantic, just friend stuff. But as far as we know with Tim and Veronica, I don't know all the details, but he's always over at her house. They hang out in the evenings, all times of day and night. I mean, again, Jamal's saying they need better boundaries. And yeah, the boundaries aren't really there. The boundaries are like, this person is a very close person in your life. Almost like family, but even another element to that as well, because a family member can move to the side if you have a romantic partner come in, but whatever they have, it's a little bit too complicated to even define what they have. And I think it's beautiful that Tim has been there for her. He said that he's been her shoulder when other relationships have failed, which is beautiful, but almost in a way, again, that dependence is there to the point where it's the lines are very blurred, and he's there for her kid. I mean, I'm sure he's there for her in other ways, and she's probably there for him in other ways that are very deeply rooted in a strong relationship and in a dependent relationship. So that's a little confusing. I've loved seeing them as castmates, talking about the other 90 Day, doing pillow talk and all of that, and just seeing them come on, not really fully knowing their story, not watching their story from the beginning, but just to see them, they're cool, they're friends, but to see now they're in this situation where they're both dating people and it's awkward, and they still have this bond, this connection that can any new person get in? So that is the question with those two. And that's like a whole episode right there. Like, they could just focus on them as a whole episode, really. I wish them the best. I still want them to be close and kind of like family. I do think they need each other on some level, but the boundaries need to be pushed back even further, because it just doesn't seem healthy for them to move forward in romantic relationships. But I do wish them the best. I love the fact that Tim is that guy that will be there even in the aftermath of the relationship ending. Again, the whole sexual element, as far as him being physical with his new potential, Louisa. And Veronica even states, when they were dating, that she had to make the first move on him. He's not really the physical type. And so I just wonder how their whole relationship went. And I also really wonder why they broke up. If anyone knows, let me know, because I think that will give me a lot of insights, because I feel like they aren't really broken up. They just don't have the romantic element, but they have everything else. And I'm sure a lot of women would love that because honestly, I am looking for a man that has the element of, okay, supportive, kind, caring, and save the sex till after marriage. We can still have romance. We just have to wait for all of the everything till after marriage. I mean, if I could find someone that could have all of those good qualities and be able to save that sex part for after the wedding day, would be wonderful. But a lot of times I find the person wants to do the sex part, but they don't have the other elements at all as to what I would need. And for my last person, I feel like they had all those elements, but the sex part was still an issue. And that's kind of why I think I wanted to hang on to them at least as a friend, because I thought they would be a great friend in my life. But again, the sex issue was a problem. So let me get into another couple now. I'm going to move on to John and Megan. Again, previously I've talked about how they kind of had a nice little bond when it came to their sex life, but Megan has expectations, and I really wanted to impress that upon men that yes, even if a woman is physical with you, there's going to be expectations that go along with that. It's not just going to be fun and sex. Most women build a bond with you during sexual interactions, and the more that happens, the stronger the bond. So men need to realize that it's not just fun and games, especially for us as women. John seems as if he's going to try to make things work with her and move forward with her. He met her daughter, and he wants her to come meet his family where he lives, and they're going to kind of get the real, she's going to kind of get the real on who John really is. So that's going to be something that's going to be interesting to watch. But I hope that they move forward. I hope that they do eventually become the couple that Megan is wanting them to be. I hope John has it in him to have that commitment. River does have autism. She's a special needs child, so he's going to be a father to her, possibly. And we'll just see what the future will be for this couple, but hope for the best. They call this show 90 Day Fiancé, and I'm still hoping that fiancés are made. Sometimes they aren't, sometimes they are, a lot of times they are, and a lot of times marriages happen. So that's one good thing for this show, 90 Day Fiancé. Marriage is not dead. Again, that's another reason why I'm covering this show. We talk about faith, love, and trends, and it's great to have a show about marriage to trend because a lot of people aren't really doing that. Let's get into Natalie, Josh, and even Mike. Natalie has moved on from her husband, Mike. He's the one that originally got her into the country. They were together for years. She said 7 years. They're technically even still married. She's moved on to Josh. Josh is in the entertainment industry. He seems to have more things going for him financially, at least. He seems like that guy. I think Mike does well for himself, but he's kind of more like the country guy. Josh is like the city guy, and he just has all these things going for him that are appealing to Natalie. So she's on his bandwagon. Josh's friends kind of confront him and say, what's going on with Natalie? It seems like she's kind of trying to use you to get into the industry and all of these things. And Josh is like, I'm just trying to support her, get her on her feet. So I'm having a little bit more respect for Josh at this moment. But Natalie's not sure what to do in the future because they showed some previews, and Natalie's mom still loves Mike. And for me, I was just thinking about Mike and Natalie. Didn't watch them from the beginning, so I don't know all of the ups and downs, and I'm not even sure why she left Mike. For some reason, it did not work for her, and I don't know if she just doesn't like the atmosphere or what the situation is. But for her to leave someone that seems like a good guy, for all intents and purposes, everybody is saying Mike's a good guy. Even her mother loves him. I don't know what that would be like, because if I had something like that, I would totally still be there. So I don't know what the issue was. I'm still not sure why they broke up. I can't really relate to Natalie's story and then her jumping to Josh. To me, it almost feels like, and even his friends are pointing this out, that basically is Natalie using him. Is she seeing all the things that he has and she wants that? She wants to embody that. So she grabs on or attaches to people that have what she would like to have or have the lifestyle she would like to have. There are people that do that attach to people in romantic relationships that they would like to emulate, and they're doing it out of emulation and love of their lifestyle, love of like, oh, that's what I wish I was, versus them just loving that person and getting along with that person. I feel like if you are self-aware and you are a person that, because I don't know if we'll all ever be completely whole. Even with my faith in Christ, there's still much work I need to do as a person to get whole. But if you are a person that at least kind of knows who you are, you're not going to attach to people that have the lifestyle that you want. You're going to work to create that lifestyle on your own. And you're not going to try to marry into it or hook up into it or date into it. But a lot of people do this. And I don't think it's healthy, and I don't think it's right. I know that back in the day when women had to be more dependent on men, that you would marry for that stability. You may want to marry a man that has a certain lifestyle because you may not be able to live that out, because women were just so limited in society, and I couldn't get this and I couldn't get that. But if I marry the right person, I'll be able to get all these things. So, I mean, I could kind of see why that would happen back then. But in this day and age and time, you have the ability, and it doesn't even matter what country you come from now. It is true that some countries have less, and some countries still treat women in a way where they cannot move as freely. But there are ways to move on. There's ways to get out. There's ways to connect to other countries. There's more ways than just marrying up and using that 90-day fiance thing to marry up and just to get what you want. I'm for marriage if it's right, if it's based on really truly loving that person and caring for them, versus trying to manipulate, use them, or use them as a level up type of situation. Because you can do that. You can have a happy marriage. I've seen people do that. But as long as you know where you stand, as long as you know this person is with you for X, Y, and Z, sadly, if you don't have X, Y, and Z, they may leave you. So you have to try to keep up this lifestyle. So it's a lot of pressure on the partner as well in those type of situations. But if you have a situationship style marriage, people have been doing this for a long time. If their people are both happy in this type of thing, it can work. There are still some people that don't know that they're being used, or they may not care because they may be using you for what you can bring into the relationship. So Natalie, Josh, and Mike, that's the thing right there. That's a whole episode in itself also. Like, that's a whole spinoff that we can do. I want to see how things are going to go down with Natalie, and will Natalie ever be happy? They compared her, I think, to Gollum. I think that's his name, from Lord of the Rings. I'm not deeply into the Lord of the Rings franchise, but she did, the last episode, she did a spooky, like, rendition or audition for the guy that came over, one of Josh's friends that's in the entertainment world. I think he does plays or whatnot. So she did like a spooky little audition for him, and she definitely did embody Gollum, or whatever his name is, Golem. Correct me, guys. Email me at cbiztv@yahoo.com. That's cbiztv@yahoo.com. Thank you guys for bearing with me. Don't always know everything here, but this was an episode that was so full that I'm still talking, and I'm usually not talking this long. But I'm going to go hop, skip, and jump to the next couple. Again, any thoughts, comments, wherever you're watching or listening, you could either drop the comments or you can email me at cbiztv@yahoo.com. Got to go to Miss Debbie. Miss Debbie, her son is looking out for her. I think they went to meet Miami to meet her possible new boo, Ruben. And when I saw Ruben on the video chat with her, and I think he stuck his tongue out, I was like, is Ruben a horn dog? Is he that guy? And when she meets Ruben, he's colorfully dressed. He has these big balloons and just these gifts for her. And she's like, well, he's even more artsy and artistic looking, and a little bit over the top more than I am, is what Debbie said. I'm thinking, hey, they're a perfect match. And I'm thinking Ruben, maybe he still might have that horn dog vibe, but he had a very fun, creative, light vibe. I liked what he was putting out there for her. I feel like they were so like-minded because she is so into art. And he said the shirt he was wearing, it was supposed to emulate her. I just loved Ruben, but more than I thought I would. And I loved their connection that they had with each other. They went to dancing, they went for drinks, and when he escorted her to the car, they had got a few kisses in. Miss Debbie said she wasn't sure. She wants to take things slow. They got a few kisses in, and Ruben looked very happy to get those kisses in. But before that, he was saying, he's going to take his time. He's not just going to have a great, sexy weekend with her, but he wants to really have a real relationship, take his time, really get to know her, and he wants to be with somebody that's a friendship and caring and loving and all those things. I'm like, Mr. Ruben, you're the type of guy that would be great, I think, for a lot of us ladies. He's a little younger. I'm not sure how much little. It could be a little more than a little younger. Email me, guys, on the age difference. There's an age difference there, but him and Miss Debbie were vibing. Her son wanted to make sure she was safe, so I'm glad that he did accompany her, but at least he didn't go on the date with her. That would have been a little bit too much. They had a great time, and then Miss Debbie she was revealing some revelations that I did not know. She talked about Usama, her very young buck that she was with before, and that he had made so many sexual advances towards her. And she said it's been 14 years since she had sex. She doesn't even know. She feels like she could still be a virgin again. I like how they both want to move slow and they're being respectful of that sexual element. And it surprised me that she said Usama came on her and tried to sleep with her multiple times, though Ruben's kisses were affection to her, and that was something Usama wasn't willing to give her. So that was really a revelation. I didn't know Usama was trying to get it like that. Like, I really didn't know things were going down like that. And I like the romance and affection as well, Miss Debbie. I really feel like I can relate to her. She's kind of been on an abstinence journey for all of these years, and who knows what's going to happen with herself and Ruben. But I like the fact and I respect the fact that they are taking things slow at this moment in time. And I also feel like being older also helps give to the idea that, yes, there's certain things I'm looking for. I really want a real thing and not just a hookup. The value of having real people in your life and having that real connection versus just the hookup thing or just the sexual connection, and that's it. To want more, to know the beauty in having that. And if you can do the 90-day fiance, so they don't have to do that because they're both in America, so they can just get married easy peasy. They can go to the courthouse if they wanted to. I'm sure that they'll have a fun, spunky, artsy wedding if they chose to do so. So to have all those elements, the love, the relationship, the connection, the friendship, and the sexual connection as well. And that's what marriage is to me. There's all of those beautiful things together. And I feel like that's what 90 Day promotes. Everybody doesn't do it that way on the show, but you can do it that way. So we have options. I like the show. I like the idea that we have options, that we can give our lives to a partner. Some couples have chosen to wait. They may have not have been virgins, but they've waited in their own relationship before having sex. There's some that have done that for religious reasons. There's some that just feel like they should do that. I have to give a big shout out to one of my favorite couples, Sierra and Russell Wilson. They decided to do that, and we know they both are virgins. I believe Russell was married before he was with Sierra. And of course, we know Sierra was with Future and had a son with him. But they decided to, start over again and in their relationship, save themselves to marriage. So I think it's a beautiful thing to show these different options because, the dating lifestyle and the world at large basically shows you hookup culture, one night stands, maybe after 3 dates it's time to have sex. And there's some people that even, they don't want that pressure, so they don't even date because they know that pressure is there. And that's sad that you can't find someone to date because you feel that they're going to press you into a sexual situation that you're not ready for, you don't desire at the time. So I think dating culture really needs to change. I think options and minds need to be open. There's more than one way to date. There's more than one way to love someone. Sex should not be a mandatory in a relationship. If you really love and care for someone, it should be between both of your times and not just one person's time or one person's mindset. We're just following them. And if that person feels that way, to just be upfront and honest and move on to someone that is on the same sexual timeline. Not try to play people, not try to push people, not try to get them to come onto your menu, so to speak. So I think it's a beautiful thing, the 90 Day Fiance programming. You can take it like it is. I like it because they show different people's lifestyles, different people make choices. It's not like they're trying to push marriage into your face. They're not trying to push abstinence into your face, because everybody's kind of doing their own thing. They're not trying to push one lifestyle. It's many people from many different walks of life. They choose to do what they do. Some things work, some things fail, but the option is there to have that 90 day and possibly be a husband or be a wife. So to have that option is a beautiful thing, because I feel like in this world that option's kind of dwindling down, but it's still there. All love to everyone living that single life, as I covered 90 days the single life. Great episode this time. Hopefully we have more like this where we can just kind of chit chat, share the tea, spill the tea, get kind of deep into some of these people's relationships and kind of connect and say, okay, I can relate. I've been through that. I understand that. I feel that. I don't feel that. I don't like that. And that's kind of the beauty about this show, is to be able to bond over those moments and to learn and relate and say, this couple did this, I would do this, but I wouldn't do that. Or, this couple did that, I never thought of doing that. Maybe I should do that. So it's a learning experience. It is on the Learning Channel, but it's also fun to chat, reflect, connect. And love is always an awesome topic. Whether it works or not, it's a topic that we can all connect with, we can all get behind, and let's root for each other. Let's hope and pray that love wins. Thanks, guys, for checking me out. You can always hear me as well on the podcast at cbiztvmedia.com. Click in. We're on multiple platforms. Again, that's cbiztvmedia.com. You can hear the podcast on multiple platforms. Please check us out. Thank you so much. All the best. This is Irene. God bless. And I feel like I've made some bad decisions because I didn't have a plan in place, and it was like whoever came to me, I just accepted them, not seeing who they fully were and not knowing what I wanted. So I feel like, we need to know what we want moving forward and find the right person that's for us.